Many accounting and tax firms can do the work. They can crunch the numbers, they can prepare the taxes. But if you're not communicating with them and they're not communicating with you, you don't know if your taxes are minimized. You don't know if your wealth is being maximized. There might be things that you don't think to ask your accounting firm, and you count on them to notify you when things happen.
Today, I'm talking to Brian Paulson, owner of CSI Accounting and Payroll. CSI is a full-service accounting firm that's been serving small business clients for over 50 years. And with that kind of experience, he's seen it all. From the best of the best to the worst of the worst, he knows what makes a good accounting firm and what makes a bad one. If you're a small business owner who has an accountant or is looking to hire one, or if you're an accountant yourself, Brian's insight is going to be super valuable to you because it will help you avoid the pitfalls of dealing with bad accounting practices. Let's hear what he has to say.
I was at a business group meeting a couple of days ago, and a speaker was talking, and he actually said that the cheapest accounting firm is likely to be the most expensive accounting firm. They're less likely to help you make sure that you're maximizing profit, minimizing tax, in turn maximizing your wealth. If they're not paying attention to things like estimated payments, then you're going to have penalties and interest. And if your taxes are on extension, you're going to have late payment penalties. I think the best accounting firms are the ones that don't just see clients once a year. There's a lot of those firms out there that see clients once a year. They're good at what they do, but I think something's missing there. The alternative is a firm that sees clients more often than once a year. The accountants in the accounting firm are looking at the client's books monthly, are in some cases preparing the client's monthly financial statements, meeting with the clients as needed for proactive advice, tax planning, consultation when the client wants it, and consultation when the accountant sees that it's necessary to help the client. I would give anybody the following advice. If you're looking to hire a new accountant or a new accounting firm, you should ask how they go about tax planning. You should ask how they go about tax projecting. You should ask, what are they going to do for you if you get audited? And you should ask, how often are they going to communicate with you? Obviously, they'll probably answer your questions whenever you communicate with them, but you should ask them how often they're going to communicate with you. Communication is the biggest thing, and the most important thing about a relationship with an accounting firm. Many accounting and tax firms can do the work. They can crunch the numbers, they can prepare the taxes. But if you're not communicating with them and they're not communicating with you, you don't know if your taxes are minimized. You don't know if your wealth is being maximized. There might be things that you don't think to ask your accounting firm, and you count on them to notify you. If they're going to do that, great. If they're not going to do that, maybe you interview another firm and ask them, what is your sequence or cadence of communication throughout the year? If you ask an accounting firm about tax planning, it should happen before the end of the year. It should be something that they do throughout the year, or they do it in the fall. So they meet with you in October, November, December, when most of the year is done, so they can have a good idea of what your business profits look like so far, and then you can do a tax plan where you can be prepared for what's going to happen April 15th. If you're gonna owe money, if you're gonna get a refund, it's more than just, do I owe or do I get a refund? It's, what rate of tax do I pay, and what tax bracket am I in, and is there anything I could do to get into a lower tax bracket? If an accounting firm tells you that their tax planning is going to be in February or March when they're preparing your taxes, because that's what some of them will do. They'll say, bring your taxes in March, we'll prepare them, and then we'll give you a plan for the next year. That's better than nothing. But a better approach is to do it in the fall, because then you can actually do some planning for the current year that you're in, not just for the next year. bad traits of an accounting firm, I've seen some that set their fees based on the revenue of your business. I would avoid that. I would avoid a firm that sets their fees based on the size of the refund that they get for you. Any business that you do business with, you want to pay them, what they charge. You want to pay them what they're worth, but it should be based on the work that they do for you. It should be based on their time or on the accounting work and complexity of the work that they do for you. It shouldn't be based on the size of your refund. They could manipulate that. It shouldn't be based on your revenues. They have no control over your revenues. You're the one growing your business. You're the one making it more profitable. Other red flags with some less reputable accounting firms are if they seem too cheap or too good to be true, probably not adequately staffed, and the owner is going to be spread too thin trying to do everything, and then the communication isn't going to be there. Another trait we see occasionally is accountants or accounting firms that will purposely cheat on taxes for their clients to get them more money back because clients love that. We want to see people working with accounting firms that minimize taxes within the law rather than minimize taxes outside of the law. If you ask an accounting firm how they're going to handle it, if you get audited, if they tell you that they're going to charge you extra for the audit, that's okay, but ask them why, and ask them if you can just pay them a little more when they do your taxes to just automatically include audit representation if it was done in a year that they did the work. Also, as it relates to being audited, ask them how far they can take an audit. Can they represent you all the way up to tax court? And if it goes to tax court, you need an attorney, but can your accounting firm represent you all that way? Or are they just going to facilitate and you're going to be stuck going back and forth with the auditor on everything? You should try to find a firm where they will handle the audit for you, and all you have to do is provide some paperwork and whatever the auditor asks for, but you don't actually have to give up any of your time. I hate to keep talking about communication, but I think the biggest mistake that accounting firms make is not communicating with their clients often enough on things that the clients need to know and things that the clients need to do to minimize taxes. I think it's also a mistake that firms make is not doing tax planning when they should. If you are a business owner that's going to be selling your business soon, for example, then you should want to be working with an accounting firm that as soon as you say, hey, I'm thinking of selling my business, or I'm going to be selling my business, that accounting firm should start talking to you about what you're going to owe in taxes on that and how to structure that sale to come out with the best tax scenario that you can, rather than wait until after you've sold your business and after you've already done a purchase agreement with the buyer and the assets that you just sold have been allocated. It's too late to change any of that. The species called the human being is a flawed species that we all make lots of mistakes. I'd say the most common one that I see in my own firm is sometimes something gets filed late or something happens, not very often, but sometimes something happens where a client might get a penalty. We've never turned anything like that over to our insurance company, although we could, because they've always been relatively small. But if a client gets a penalty and it's because of something we did, then we're going to pay it for them. If we miss an opportunity to help a client save tax, that's probably a bigger mistake than a penalty, even though a penalty to the client, a letter from the IRS saying you have a penalty, that seems like a huge thing, but missing out on an opportunity to do something to save a client tax for a long period of time is much worse. If they're totally not happy with with a service provider, they should move on and find another service provider. But if they're just wondering if they're getting the best advice and the best service that they can, then they should ask their current service provider some questions. Questions like, how do you communicate with your customers? How do you go about tax planning? How do you help your clients make sure that they're taking money out of their business in the most tax advantageous way possible? Ask some of those questions.
All right, so there you have it. Words of wisdom. You should now feel more confident in your decision to hire a new accounting firm now that you know what to look for and what to avoid. If you want to learn more about the services we provide, check out our website. The link is in the description. And if you find this kind of small business knowledge useful, make sure to subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching. See you next time.